What's up, guys? So last week we did a video on the Orbea Ois, which is their full suspension cross-country machine. It's all aluminum, beautiful bike. So I thought it'd be a great time to look at their road bikes as well. This is not my personal bike. This is Keith's bike that he just got in. I think someone needs to ride a bike at least a month before they can give an honest review on the bike. But I can at least tell you how awesome this thing was to build. We got to get to the shop to look at it. But before that, I wanted to give you an update on Buddy. If you didn't see last week's video, we got a new puppy. We think he's about 8 months old. We did get him from the pound, but he's got a lot of energy. Buddy, come here. Go home. High five. Stop it. So I want to get him to where he can, run on the trails while I'm riding. Something to wear him out because he's pretty full of himself right now, but it's gonna be a little bit, but I at least wanted to show how he's doing, because eventually he's gonna get there. That's enough of that. Let's get to the bike shop and check out this Orca. So for those of you that do not know, the Orbea Orca is Orbea's, I guess, standard race road bike, if a company can claim to have a standard road bike anymore. They do an aero version of this bike. Ooh. This is the one I was a little bit more interested in. One thing that I will say that sets Orbea apart from other companies that are their size is their semi-custom program. That's what I call it anyway. So basically you get to pick what cassette you want on it, the gearing. You can pick to have a compact or a standard crank, or you can pick what stem length. In the age of all of these companies getting more and more proprietary parts, like the stem for instance, I think that is awesome that you can just go ahead and order what you want on the bike before it even ships. It does add a little bit of shipping time, but I think that's worth the wait. You also get the Mio program, which Mio or whatever, which is basically a custom paint. So these bikes take a little bit longer to get, I will say that, but 4 to 5 weeks, that's kind of how long this Orbea took to come in. That is not very long to wait for something that is semi-custom, essentially.
Oh, their build process of this bike was one of the easiest. It's like 95% built. Like you pull it out of the box, stick the handlebars on it and the front wheel. Everything was adjusted on the back end of the bike. The front brake, I don't know if it was by accident or not, but that thing we didn't even have to adjust. We popped a wheel in and it was already set up for the rotor on it, which was very nice. And they are not afraid to put grease in things, which most bicycle manufacturers don't tend to do. You can just leave it in the bike there and cut it.
That's what I was saying.
Like right there?
Yeah.
And then what, just pull these off?
Yeah. Really?
Yeah, the front derailleur's already set up. Where do you think this mounts to? So this is my 2020 Orbea Orca disc. Part of the reason that I decided to go with one of these versus the other ones that I could get is this is a fairly modern disc design in that it's only been out for a couple years. It's disc specific. It's not a bike that they just kind of engineered and threw disc brakes on. and they carry over a lot of the aero attributes of the Orbea Orca Aero into this bike, with the front end of the bike with still going with a more traditional back end to get the ride quality a little bit nicer. One of the other reasons that I went with this is they do a semi-custom program with a lot of their bikes. It's not all of them, but you can go and pick certain things to change on the bicycle. So with this particular bike, I did a wheel upgrade to the Fulcrum Racing 400s. I picked the cranks that I wanted on the bike. I went with a 5339 crank as opposed to a mid-compact. I did a longer stem, changed out the handlebars, and picked a different saddle for the bike as well. All of this you can do via their website, kind of pick it out what you want, and then come to us and we just place the order with the stuff that you want on it. It does change the lead time of the bike, so it takes it a little bit longer to get here because they're not just pulling an OEM box or a bike in a box and shipping it out to us. They're physically building this bike for you in Spain, which is also pretty cool. And they usually have 2 to 3 color options that you can pick, or you can just go ahead and do their Mayo program where you pick the entire paint job of the bike. And I believe with most of those, there's no upcharge for that. There again, it would just be, you know, adding time to the amount, you know, when you get the bicycle. Yeah, this one's full Ultegra disc. I'm gonna put some of my Dura Ace goodies on the bike before I ride it. But I rode it this morning for the first time, just an easy ride out on Lakeshore, and so far I like it. It rides really smooth. I wanted something that wasn't as harsh as an aero bike tends to be. Plus it has this sweet little integrated Garmin mount that comes with the bike that actually bolts into the faceplate of the stem, which is kind of cool. That somebody took the time to think of that.
And last but not least, the weight.
Yeah, I mean, it's barely 19 pounds, so it's technically lighter than that.
The 19 is pretty average, but we did, just for reference, change a few things and get it down to 18 pretty quickly. So there you have it, guys. More of just an unboxing video on a bike that I was really excited for. Next, I really wanted to check out the OMX version of this bike. But we've got some races coming up. Very excited for that. Cross is coming. Cross is here. I will see you guys next week. I'll see you at the races.